Class, my name is Mr. Smith, and I will be teaching you about the Constitution Act of 1982. What is the Constitution Act of 1982? This act is part of the Constitution of Canada and includes many important documents and amendments such as the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms and the amending formula. Many amendments were added on to the British North America Act, which later became the Constitution Act of 1967. This act was officially brought into effect when Elizabeth II, the Queen of Canada, signed the act on April 17, 1982 in Ottawa, Canada. As you can see here, this is a copy of the official proclamation of the Constitution Act of 1982. It includes a signature from our matriarch, Queen Elizabeth II, our then Prime Minister, Pierre Trudeau, and our Registrar General, André Ouellet. This very important document also included the Great Seal of Canada, which was stamped onto the bottom left corner of the proclamation. Parts of the Constitution. There were many things included in the Constitutional Act of 1982, including the Charts of Rights and Freedoms, the amending formula, and many changes in the rights of Canada's people, including democratic, mobility, legal, and equality rights. Many things were changed to make Canada a more fair place to live in, with many choices and the ability to decide on what you want for your future. The Charter of Rights and Freedoms. The Charter of Rights and Freedoms guarantees all rights and freedoms stated in it within certain limits that have been established and exceptionally justified in a democratic society. Example, our country, Canada. Every person has these certain freedoms. The freedom of conscience and religions, such as to believe in a certain religion, like Catholicism and Muslim and such. The freedom of thought, belief, opinion, and expression, so the ability to express your opinion to others and stand up for what you believe in. The freedom of peace assembly, and the freedom of association. This is a copy of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, and it includes many rights and freedoms that change Canada considerably after the Constitution Act of 1982. Had this not have been entered into the Act, Canada would be a very much different place today. Democratic rights. Many democratic rights were created in the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, including the right to vote and no House of Commons or Legislative Assembly shall continue for longer than 5 years after a general election. In the case of war, whether it be real or predicted, a legislative assembly may continue for longer than 5 years if voted on by 1/3 of the legislative assembly. Also, a meeting of Parliament must be held every year. To the right is an example of what a federal ballot would look like for a vote. As you can see, these are not real names because obviously they cannot have that on Google Images. Mobility rights. Many mobility rights were created during the Constitutional Act of 1982. They were the ability to move around. These included every citizen has the right to remain in, enter, or leave Canada whenever or wherever they want, and every permanent resident of Canada is entitled to live in any province and pursue a job in any province. Legal rights. Many legal rights were created during the Constitutional Act of 1982. These have to do with where and what you are allowed to stand up to in regards to the law. These include every person has the right to life, liberty, and security, not to be subject to any cruel or unjust punishment, and to be secure against unreasonable search and seizure. Equality rights. One very important equality right was created during the Constitutional Act of 1982. This was that every person is equal with the right to equal protection and benefit of the law with without discrimination towards race, ethnicity, color, religion, and all of those, etc. The amending formula. The amending formula is a list of conditions required to make changes to the Constitution. In order to be able to make a change, the Constitutional Act of 1982 says that 7 out of 10 provinces, adding to 50% or more of the population, must agree with the change. If a province agrees with the change that is being decided upon, it cannot back on its agreement. Although, if it does not agree, it may change its point of view at any moment. This concludes our lesson for today. I hope you've learned a lot about the Constitutional Act of 1982, and I hope to teach you on other historical subjects in the near future. Thank you and goodbye from your loving teacher, Cale Smith.